Hey guys, Adam Rose, Vice President and Senior Loan Officer of Western Ohio Mortgage here in Sydney, Ohio. Today is another episode of the Mortgage Guy Podcast, and today I want to discuss USDA renovation / repair escrow. There are two different products, but we focus on the repair escrow. I wanted to talk about it a little bit. We've talked about in the past how 203K renovation loans work and USDA and home style, but I feel like it's getting a little bit more relevant again. I've got about 4 of these deals going right now. And, of course, they're always so much fun, right? Because we got to deal with a lot of other obstacles, contractors and appraisal repair requirements and a lot of stuff happening, right? So there's a lot of stuff that can change the game. But I just want to do a program overview to make sure you are aware of the requirements. You are aware of the parameters of the program. Not too in-depth, nothing crazy. But, again, there's a lot more foreclosed properties out there. It's crazy. I mean, I talked about it before, like a year and a half ago, that it's going to start happening again because we can only hang on for so long with some of these higher rates and people that bought in the last 12 to 18 months thinking rates were going to drop, which I thought they were as well. It's a slow burn, right? So people are struggling. The cost of everything is so high, so it's a challenge right now. But that's going to unfortunately open up opportunities for additional first-time home buyers to jump into the market if they're ready. Pick up maybe some of these distressed homes. I'm not saying go buy a foreclosed property because there's a lot more to it than just doing a reno. There's a lot of problems there, but we can overcome those. But just use it for anything, right? Use it on a regular purchase that's already on the market that's in probably pretty good shape, but might need a little bit of TLC. So USDA, no down payment, right? Still got closing costs, just like any other loan program. But remember, there's no down payment requirement. There is a household income limit, okay? So remember, a household of 4 people, including spouse and children and all that, 4 people or less, you got to make less than $114,000. You got 5 people in the household or more, you got to be under I jumped like 147, 150-ish, right? It's in that ballpark. So you got to be under that mark. But area plays a role, okay? So there's a USDA eligibility map. You can Google that, and then you can plug in an address if you have a specific place that you're looking at. But if you just zoom in on your area, at least it gives you an idea of the areas that are not eligible, because there's more areas that are eligible than not, of course. The mark's kind of like a population size of 20,000 people. Once it hits that or over, they kind of pull you out of that area. Like, you just can't do it in those specific places. We have fought. So Sydney, we fought to keep back in. Again, I don't even know when the next chopping block is. It might be this year, next year. It's been a few years since we submitted that data to keep a USDA territory here in Sydney. But anyways, let's go back to the program. So the whole purpose of this is that you can finance anything that you want to, for the most part, in regards to repairs and renovations to the property. Got to have a contractor estimate, has to have liability insurance, a couple of documents to fill out. It's nothing too hateful. It's not as in-depth as an FHA 203K with the breaking out of the material and labor costs and all this craziness, because FHA 203K can get a little tight, right? There's a lot of stuff that you have to do. So that's why a lot of contractors don't want to do it, which I'd like to argue about that, but we'll save that for another time. We do hold the funds on USDA escrow, right? So we hold everything here. So as contractors are doing work, they can call us, we re-inspect it, cut them a check, and come right to our office, pick it up. It's pretty slick. I also bring this up because just yesterday, we had a client that closed on Friday. They wanted to go ahead and get some escrow monies for their appliances. I hand-delivered the check on my way home and met them somewhere local and just dropped it off to them. They're going to go buy their appliances. So it's pretty slick in the flexibility of that. But the piece on it that we got to be careful of, you have to know. All right, so you can only finance up to 100% of the after improved value, okay? Not the as-is value, after improved value. So why some of these programs take a little longer than usual is because I highly suggest that we get the contractor estimate up front, submit that with the appraisal order, and move on with our day. So the appraiser knows what you plan on doing to the home, and they give you an after improved value. If we're more reactive than proactive, it can kind of prolong the situation. You may not get additional value. So I don't know. This is just an example. Get an appraisal done. You need new GFCI outlets. You need a new furnace. I don't know, 2 new window replacements, something like that. It costs you $12,000, right? After the value is set, and they give you as-is value, you might get a little additional value with the financing of a brand new furnace, but it's not that much, really. It really isn't. You're not going to get a dollar for dollar. You might be doing $12,000 of renovations, but you might only get $3,000 or $4,000 in true value added to the property. So having this stuff up front is a big help. Because in that particular case, I add $12,000. I don't have enough room. You might have to be bringing some money to closing. So I want to do this stuff up front. So 100% of the value after improved. Okay. 10% contingency reserve on that estimate. So we get a contractor estimate for your furnace and your windows. I was just talking about GFCI outlets, whatever it is, roof. So let's say you get a $10,000 estimate. There's a 10% contingency reserve added to it. Now that cannot be financed into your loan amount. Okay. So at best case picture, right? We're assuming you're getting closing costs paid. We can finance all that stuff in. Is you're gonna, again, $10,000 estimate. We're gonna have $1,000 illustrated for what you need for your cash to close, roughly. You may need to bring that. Okay. If it's designed perfectly, we have plenty of value. Your tax prorations, appraisal payments that you've already made could eat into that 10% contingency reserve and bring you to zero. But that's not always the case. Okay. So just a heads up. So we'll design it the best way we can. And technically speaking, there is no, I'm trying to keep my voice down because I have an underwriter that's one room over when I'm recording this. There's technically no limit to the amount you can do on the repair escrow for USDA. You heard that right. No limit. That's nuts, right? There's limitations on 203K, on a limited 203K, right? But not a full. So for USDA to say, well, there's really no limit, but there's some natural restrictions, okay? Natural. It's the same concept with USDA that they don't have a loan limit, right? You can do $1 million loan if you can, but their natural restrictions are going to be your debt-to-income ratio, right? That's going to pull it in line because you can only make so much money to qualify for USDA. So naturally, that keeps the loan amounts within range. Same kind of concept here with the repair escrow. The home, and where I'm getting at here, is going to pull you back a little bit because the home has to be quote-unquote livable, meaning I go to closing, I could live in this house now, right? So where I'm getting at is if plumbing is the big one for them, okay? All your plumbing lines are broke. You've got all kinds of issues, and you can't have running water for weeks on end. It is not livable. So if it is a minor line repair on one of your plumbing lines, not the end of the world. But if your plumbing is just shot and all needs replaced, no go, okay? So that's where we got to be careful. But you can do kitchen remodels. You can do flooring. And again, I try to tell people not to abuse this product for your wish list items. It's truly designed to make the home qualify for USDA, right? Bring it up to minimum property standards. But again, I see people, they can use it like this. I've seen bathroom remodels, new roofs, new furnaces, new baseboards, again, new kitchens, new baths, appliances, right? You can finance your appliances in this range, washer, dryer, fridge, microwave. I mean, it's pretty crazy. So windows are another one. That's a big one. But it's very flexible in that regard. So, if you have questions about it, do reach out to us. Again, we don't want a home that's almost falling down. If you run into structural stuff, you're out. All right? Structural and heavy plumbing is probably not going to work for you. So just remember those things. So I just wanted to review that, give you guys some updates, and remember that when you're out shopping, to have a little bit of vision, right? You might not find the home that's perfect for you. Might need some cosmetic stuff, but maybe you're not skilled enough or a DIYer and you want to hire it out, but you're just thinking, I can't afford this $10,000. Well, there you go. USDA Repair Escrow. Great program. Give us a call and we'll walk you through that. That's all I got for you this week, guys. Next week, we're going to have a new guest on the show, somebody that works for me. His name's Jim Luana, and we're going to talk about his experience as a loan officer and being new to the industry. But I appreciate you guys tuning in. Remember, subscribe on YouTube. Check us out on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. We'll catch you all next week.